Can you feel it? That electric current of anticipation, the dizzying rush of a high-stakes gamble about to unfold, threatening to rewrite the very fabric of two NBA franchises? Basketball fanatics, brace yourselves because the tectonic plates of the league are shifting and a decision of monumental proportions looms, one that could either catapult teams into contention or leave them grappling with the ghosts of what-ifs for years to come. For too long, the Chicago Bulls, a storied franchise etched into the annals of basketball history, have been adrift in a frustrating purgatory. We've endured the agonizing near misses, the tantalizing glimpses of potential that ultimately dissolved into the familiar ache of unfulfilled promise. But now, a strategic chess match is unfolding with astronomical stakes, a bold declaration of intent that has sent shockwaves through the Windy City and beyond. The Bulls have just made a colossal 4-year, $100 million bet on Josh Giddey, handing him the keys to their point guard position. This isn't merely a roster adjustment, it's a seismic shift, a clear signal of a new direction, a fresh canvas upon which to paint their future. Yet, with that audacious move, a new, more agonizing question emerges, one that's sending ripples of anxiety and excitement through Chicago. What about Coby White, the very player who, fresh off a breakout season as the team's leading scorer, now finds himself in the final year of his contract, his future shrouded in uncertainty? Is Chicago truly prepared to let go of a fan favorite, a proven scorer, in a daring high-stakes trade for a future that's anything but guaranteed? This isn't just about player contracts or roster spots. It's about the very soul of a franchise, the brutal calculus of winning in the modern NBA, and the agonizing decisions that define a team's destiny. Get ready because the trade winds are swirling, and a proposed deal could send shockwaves across the league, potentially reshaping the Bulls' identity and forcing the Houston Rockets into a desperate win-now gamble. The stakes are astronomical, and the echoes of what if are about to get very, very loud. The Chicago Bulls have been marooned in a basketball purgatory, a frustrating cycle of being good enough to avoid the bottom, but never quite great enough to truly contend for a championship. Their recent decision to commit a staggering 4-year, $100 million deal to Josh Giddey is a clear, unequivocal statement. They are ready to pivot. Giddey, with his unique playmaking vision, exceptional size for a point guard, and burgeoning talent, represents a new direction. He's been handed the keys, tasked with orchestrating an offense and becoming the primary facilitator for a team desperate for a clear identity and a cohesive offensive flow. This move, while exciting for its potential, immediately creates a fascinating and potentially fraught dynamic within the roster. Because while Giddey is now positioned as the future, Coby White has undeniably been the present. Last season, White wasn't just good, he was exceptional. He emerged as the Bulls' leading scorer, a dynamic guard who finally seemed to put all the pieces together. His offensive explosion, his vastly improved decision-making, and his clutch shot-making endeared him to the fan base and offered a much-needed glimmer of hope in an otherwise inconsistent season. He transformed from a promising but erratic talent into a legitimate offensive force capable of carrying the scoring load on any given night. Now, as he enters the final year of his contract with a reported asking price of $30 million per year, the Bulls find themselves at a critical juncture. Can they afford to pay him that much? Do they want to pay him that much, especially after committing so heavily to Giddey? The specter of losing a player of White's caliber for nothing in free agency looms large, a nightmare scenario for any front office, a mistake too many teams have made in the past. This is precisely where the trade chatter, specifically a recent proposal from Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times, becomes not just interesting, but absolutely vital to the Bulls' strategic future. The proposed deal is a blockbuster. Chicago sends Coby White to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Reed Sheppard and Tari Eason. For the Bulls, the appeal of this trade is as clear as a perfectly executed fast break. If the front office, despite White's breakout season, isn't willing to meet his reported $30 million per year asking price, a figure that would represent a significant chunk of their cap space, then flipping him now is a strategic masterstroke. It prevents the devastating scenario of watching him walk away for nothing next summer. But this isn't just about avoiding a loss. It's about seizing an opportunity to accelerate their rebuild and inject their roster with precisely the kind of young, high-upside talent they desperately need. Reed Sheppard, the number 3 overall pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, is the crown jewel of this potential deal. He's not just a prospect, he's a potential franchise cornerstone, a player who has already impressed in Summer League with his elite shooting, high basketball IQ, and defensive instincts. Imagine him developing alongside Giddey and Mattis Buzelis, creating a young, dynamic core with a shared timeline, growing together, and forging a new identity for the Bulls. Sheppard's ability to shoot the lights out and make smart plays would perfectly complement Giddey's passing prowess, creating a backcourt that could be both potent and versatile for years to come. This isn't just a trade, it's a statement that the Bulls are fully committed to building through youth, to cultivating a future that is bright, exciting, and most importantly sustainable. Then there's Tari Eason, a physical two-way forward who would immediately address a glaring need for Billy Donovan's roster: defensive energy and versatility. Eason is a relentless rebounder, a disruptive defender, and a player who brings an undeniable motor to every possession. He's the kind of gritty, hard-nosed player who can change the complexion of a game with his effort and physicality. His presence would instantly upgrade the Bulls' defensive intensity, providing the kind of tough, impactful play that has been sorely missing. With the Bulls projected to have more cap space than any other team next summer, adding 2 promising young players like Sheppard and Eason while simultaneously maintaining significant financial flexibility perfectly aligns with the front office's long-term vision. This trade isn't just about acquiring talent. It's about strategically positioning the franchise for sustained success, building a foundation that can truly contend for championships down the line. Now, let's turn our attention to the Houston Rockets, a team in a vastly different situation, operating under a completely different set of pressures. For them, the urgency is palpable, almost desperate. They just lost their starting point guard, Fred VanVleet, for the entire season due to a torn ACL. This is a devastating blow for a team that, according to the latest reports, just added Kevin Durant and is clearly aiming to contend. Now, the championship window is open, the expectations are sky high, and suddenly a gaping hole has appeared in their backcourt. They need a proven guard, and they need one immediately. Coby White would be an immediate, impactful solution. He's a proven scorer, a player who can create his own shot, space the floor with his shooting, and ease the immense pressure on their young stars like Alperen Sengun Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith Jr. White's ability to generate offense and run the pick and roll would be invaluable for a Rockets team suddenly scrambling to maintain its competitive edge. He would provide a much-needed veteran presence in the backcourt, a player capable of stepping in and contributing from day one, helping to bridge the gap until VanVleet's eventual return. The fit, from a purely on-court, immediate impact perspective, is undeniable. But the cost for Houston is steep, almost agonizingly so. Reed Sheppard, a recent lottery pick with immense potential, and Tari Eason, a versatile, impactful defender, are not just role players. They are key pieces of Houston's young core, foundational elements of their future. Trading both of them for Coby White, who is on an expiring contract and could potentially walk away in free agency next summer, is an enormous gamble. It's a move that screams, win now at the expense of long-term asset accumulation, a high-risk, high-reward proposition that could either propel them into contention or leave them with a significant void in their future plans. The Rockets front office would have to weigh the immediate need for a proven guard against the long-term potential of 2 highly promising young players. It's a decision that could define their era. The bigger picture here is a fascinating study in contrasting NBA philosophies. For the Bulls, this type of trade is a clear signal of a full-scale pivot, a commitment to reshaping their future around the burgeoning talents of Giddey and Buzelis, with Sheppard potentially joining them as another franchise cornerstone. If Sheppard lives up to his immense ceiling, his upside alone could justify the entire deal, even if Eason were to leave after the season. It's a calculated risk, a bet on potential, but one that aligns perfectly with a long-term vision of building a sustainable contender. For the Rockets, the calculation is entirely different. Their focus is laser-sharp, winning now. With the addition of Kevin Durant and the urgency created by VanVleet's injury, they are in full contention mode. If Coby White can step in, provide immediate offensive punch, and help them maintain their competitive standing until VanVleet returns, then the trade might be deemed worth it. But the risk is immense. Losing two promising young players for what could ultimately be a short-term fix is a major gamble. One that could haunt them for years if White doesn't re-sign or if their championship aspirations fall short. It's a desperate play born out of necessity, but one that could have profound consequences for their future. So, as the NBA season approaches, the fate of Coby White and the future of both the Chicago Bulls and the Houston Rockets hangs in a delicate balance. This isn't just a trade proposal. It's a strategic chess match, a high-stakes poker game where every decision carries immense weight. Will the Bulls make the agonizing choice to part with their leading scorer for the promise of a brighter, younger future? And will the Rockets, desperate for immediate contention, sacrifice valuable long-term assets for a chance at glory? The basketball world watches with bated breath, eager to see which path these franchises will choose and what the ultimate cost and reward will be. What do you think, basketball fanatics? Is this the right move for the Chicago Bulls to fully embrace their rebuild, even if it means saying goodbye to Coby White? And for the Houston Rockets, is sacrificing two promising young talents worth the gamble for immediate contention? Let us know your thoughts, your predictions, and your passionate opinions in the comments below. If this deep dive into the NBA's strategic chessboard got your blood pumping, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to our channel for all the breaking news, in-depth analysis, and emotional narratives that make this league the greatest show on earth.